Putting Reading First in Maine, Segment 11, Fluency Research and Assessment.
Brr, brr, polar bear, swimming in the sea.
Brr, brr, polar bear, swimming in the sea.
Fluency is one of the 5 essential elements of effective reading instruction. Research on fluency and knowledge about assessment tools that have been developed provide teachers with a foundation for instruction. Fluency is the ability to read words quickly with accuracy and expression.
She jumped up onto the windowsill. She started nibbling on my plant. "Stop!" I yelled, but it was too late. She was
A
happily
fluent reader recognizes words automatically and accurately, decodes and comprehends simultaneously, and reads aloud effortlessly and with expression.
I think you read at a good volume for the audience, and you read clear.
Factors that inhibit fluency include unfamiliarity with text, limited vocabulary, difficulty with syntax, and difficulty decoding words.
All right, now we're going to talk about punctuation marks, and we're going to look for a few in the big book here.
Fluency instruction in the elementary classroom is important. A recent large-scale study by the National Assessment of Educational Progress found that almost half of a representative sample of the nation's 4th graders were unable to read fluently. The study also identified a close relationship between fluency and comprehension. Students who were low in fluency also showed difficulty comprehending what they were reading. Fluency provides a bridge between word recognition and comprehension. This graphic depicts the working memory of a fluent and a non-fluent reader. The fluent reader does not have to devote as much working memory to decoding words. This, in turn, frees up working memory to focus attention on what the text means. The fluent reader can make connections between the ideas in the text as well as between the text and their background knowledge. The non-fluent reader devotes more working memory to decoding words, leaving less attention free for comprehension. This also limits the volume or amount of text read. Fluent processing of text increases the reader's volume of reading, exposure to vocabulary, and opportunities to comprehend text. 2 forms of fluency practice have shown evidence of improving fluency. Repeated oral reading involves asking students to read and reread a passage or story. Rereading text allows readers to focus on word recognition during the initial readings, allowing the reader to recognize the words more quickly on subsequent rereadings. In turn, this allows the reader to commit more working memory to comprehension. Guided repeated oral reading provides greater support to readers as they engage in repeated readings of text. This support can take the form of modeling what fluent reading sounds like, having students read along with taped versions, telling students unfamiliar words so they can continue reading and comprehending, engaging in shared or choral reading in which the teacher reads with the students.
Cow stole the cookies from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you.
Or learning how to chunk text into meaningful expressive phrases.
If you're happy and you know it.
Research has demonstrated that one form of guided repeated oral reading, round-robin reading, is not effective for improving fluency. During round-robin reading, students do not have the opportunity to reread the text and apply feedback from the teacher.
When I say stop, I may ask you to tell me about what you read, so do your best reading.
Teachers should regularly assess students' fluency using informal and formal assessment. Specific assessment tools have been developed to help teachers. The primary purpose of assessment is to inform instruction. Administering fluency assessments provide teachers with information about students' strengths and needs. This information can then be used to plan and deliver next steps in instruction. In order to accurately assess reading fluency, teachers need to be able to identify and use texts at the appropriate reading levels with students. Determining the reader's error rate and accuracy rate while reading a text allows teachers to identify the appropriateness of the level of text for the reader. When a student reads a text with 95 to 100% word accuracy, these are labeled independent level texts because the student is able to read the text with little or no instructional support. When a student reads a text with 90 to 94% word accuracy, these are labeled instructional level texts because the student needs instructional support from the teacher to successfully read. When a student reads a text with less than 90% word accuracy, these are labeled frustration level texts because the student cannot read these texts without intensive support from the teacher. Generally, in order for students to effectively practice fluency, they should read texts that are at their independent or high instructional reading levels. Texts that are below this reading level require so much attention to decoding that the reading fluency, and often comprehension, is compromised. Let's look at a couple of examples of tools that can be used to assess a student's reading fluency. 1-minute reading.
Okay, Holly, I'm going to have you read just a little bit of Princess Furball. I'm going to have you read for a minute, and I'll tell you when the minute's up. Okay? Go ahead.
A 1-minute reading assessment involves a student reading a passage of text at the student's independent or high instructional reading level.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful young princess.
The student reads the passage for 1 minute while the teacher records any errors the student makes.
You can stop right
At
there.
the end of 1 minute,
Awesome job.
the teacher calculates the words read correctly per minute. In order to determine the words read correctly per minute, often abbreviated as WCPM or WPM, the teacher counts the total number of words the student read within 1 minute. Any errors the student made are then subtracted from this total number of words read. 1-minute reading assessments should be repeated at regular intervals to determine and record the student's progress with reading fluency.
Allowed her to run and play with the village children.
Dibble's oral reading fluency. Dibble's oral reading fluency is a standardized set of passages and administration procedures designed to measure reading rate, identify children who may need additional instructional support, and monitor progress towards instructional goals.
Now I'm going to have you read this out loud. If you get stuck, I'll tell you the words so you can keep reading. And when I say stop, I'm going to ask you to tell me about what you read, so do your best reading. You're going to start here. What's that?
Yesterday, my mom started her new job.
The passages are calibrated for the fluency rate goal for each grade level. Benchmark goals have been established for the spring of each grade level. The benchmark goal for first grade is 40 words correct per minute. 90 words correct per minute is the benchmark goal for second grade, and the third grade benchmark goal is 110 words correct per minute. Dibble's oral reading fluency is similar to the 1-minute reading assessment because student performance is measured by having students read 3 different passages aloud, each for 1 minute.
Okay. The next story, you're going to read it out loud. If you get stuck, I'll help you with the words so you can keep reading. And when I say stop, you're going to tell me about what you read. So do your best reading. This one is called My Handprints. You can begin.
We have
Words omitted and substituted, as well as hesitations of more than 3 seconds, are scored as errors.
My brother and I were little. We made them for Mother's Day.
Words self-corrected within 3 seconds are scored as accurate. The number of correct words per minute from the passage is the oral reading fluency rate. Notice how a line of text is crossed out on the score sheet for the third passage the student read. This indicates the student skipped this line of text while reading. Fluency rubrics.
I'm going to have you read Cinderella Penguin to me. Okay? We're going to have time to read about half the book.
Okay.
Okay?
There once was a young penguin named Cinderella.
Fluency rubrics help to assess and describe the quality of the oral reading fluency of a student. Generally, fluency rubrics are written on a 4-point scale, with 1 being low and 4 being high. Each of the 4 categories on a fluency rubric describe the following components: speed of reading, how the reader groups words into phrases, attention to punctuation, expression, and intonation, and how the reader problem solves unknown words. In addition to providing a description of students' reading, fluency rubrics can offer feedback to readers as they work to improve their reading fluency. Informal and formal assessment informs instruction. In order for a student to be reading fluently, a student's reading rate must be on target. The The student should be able to read orally with expression, and the student should be able to comprehend while reading orally.
Not I.
Assessing fluency regularly ensures that students are making appropriate progress towards these goals. Fluency builds on strong phonemic awareness and phonic skills and is correlated with strong comprehension skills. Providing children with regular opportunities to strengthen their fluency in reading is critical to children becoming successful readers.